Alrighty. So in Ross chapter 5, we're going to learn about these dots a little bit more. What did we call those dots that we saw in some of our consonant letters? Dagesh. Okay, good. So we have this thing called a dagesh, and there are actually two sorts of dageshes in the Hebrew language. There is the dagesh lene, dagesh forte. Okay, so this is Ross 5.1. We're going to talk about dagesh lene, and 5.2 will be dagesh forte. The word lene, we get the word lenient from it. It's a Latin word or a Latin root. What does lene mean? Anybody know? Anybody taking any Latin? If you're lenient on somebody, you're what? You're easy on them, and that's exactly right. So this is a dagesh lene is one that's kind of weak. Now, forte means strong, so it's a strong dagesh. And what we're going to see is that dagesh lenes easily get lost. They end up missing. So you notice that there were some consonants that lose their dagesh lene. Dagesh fortes are very strong, and they like to stay right where they are. And we'll talk about what the dagesh forte does here in just a moment. What was the magical word that we used to remember which consonants can take a dagesh lene? It's called begad kafat. That's right. So begad kafat. Okay, so begad kafat. So what are those consonants in Hebrew? Beit, Gimel, Dalet, Kaf, Pei, Tav. Right? So these are the begad kafat consonants. What do they do? When you put a dot in them, you pronounce them how? Yeah, full stop, cease airflow, release. If the dagesh is missing, the dagesh lene, then they are considered fricatives, and you're blowing the air through without any complete cessation. And of course, remember, several of these consonants are pronounced the same way, whether you have the dagesh lene in it or not. Okay, so what's the important thing to learn about dagesh lene? Here's what we need to know. Okay, begad kafat letters come standard with dagesh lene, and I will abbreviate dagesh lene as DL. Whenever you see a begad kafat letter, your instinct should be to always expect a dagesh lene to be in it. That's your assumption. Do people normally have two eyes? Yes, people normally come with two eyes. Is the Pope Catholic? Well, I don't know about this one, maybe. No, I'm just kidding. Yes, the Pope is Catholic, right? Popes come standard as Catholic, right? You won't have Protestant popes hanging around in the Vatican. And begad kafat letters come standard with dagesh lene. So you should always see one there. You should always expect one there unless something makes the dagesh lene go away. What in Hebrew can make a dagesh lene go away? They go away if there is a vowel or any kind of a vocal shava sound before the dagesh letter, okay, before the dagesh lene. So here's what we need to know. Number one, begad kafat letters come standard with dagesh lene. Number two, dagesh lene goes away if vocal shava or compound shava, those are both vocal, right? Vocal shavas and compound shavas are vocal. If those or a vowel precedes that begad kafat letter. Now, in order to pronounce a vowel, what do you have to be doing? You have to be blowing air through your mouth. There's no such thing as a vowel where air is not leaving your airstream mechanism. Think about the vowel A. Ah. If you completely close your windpipe, can you pronounce an ah? Somebody grab the person next to you and choke that windpipe. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. But by definition, vowels have to have airflow going through the mouth, okay? So any vocal noise is air going through the mouth. So if you want to think of it this way, if you can think of dagesh lenes as little dots, and the vowel before it, or the vowel sounds like vocal shavas and compound shavas, those are like air or wind blowing the dagesh right out of the begad kafat letter. Let's take a word like father in Hebrew. Okay, it's the word av. Notice that the bet should have a dagesh lene, but what is right before the bet, the begad kafat letter? That's a vowel, right? And so this dagesh lene has been blown out. It's so weak that any sort of airflow causes it to go away. Okay? Let's, on the other hand, take this word, the word for house. Do you see this bet? Is there any vowel before it? Is there a vocal shava or a compound shava before it? No. So what should it have? It should have a dagesh lene. And notice it's there. Okay? But tav, is that a begad kafat letter? It is. Is there a vowel before it? Yes. So its dagesh lene has gone bye-bye. Okay? So dagesh lenes are so weak that any vocal noise before it, vowels, vocal shavas, compound shavas, will blow it out. Alrighty. Now, it is the case that sometimes you could have a vowel from the preceding word could blow a dagesh lene out of a begad kafat letter that starts a new word. So down at the bottom of page 56, we have an example of that. Let me jot that down. Okay, so see what I've got here. I have vayhi kain. This kaf, is that a begad kafat consonant? It is. But do you notice that there is a kurik yod right here, right before that begad kafat letter with its dagesh lene? So what could happen here? This vowel sound could still blow that out, and I could see that kaf without its dagesh lene. Okay, so just be aware that you can see that happen as well. All right, so that's dagesh lene. In 5.2, we meet with dagesh forte. Again, I will abbreviate that DF, dagesh forte, strong dagesh. Dagesh lene can only occur in how many consonants? 6, because there are only 6 begad kafat letters. Dagesh forte, this can occur in all consonants except what I like to refer to as the guts gang. Guts stands for gutturals. What are the guttural consonants? Ayin, aleph, hey, and chet, and then resh, I like to call a guts wannabe. So if you think about, gangs, they kind of go by funny names. So back when I was I was a kid, we talked about the Bloods and the Crips were the two street gangs that everybody was afraid of. Well, the gutturals are a gang of crazy letters running around through the Hebrew alphabet and the Hebrew language, causing trouble, wreaking havoc. Okay, and the guts gang, the ayin, aleph, hey, chet, and resh, these consonants don't take no dagesh forte from anyone. Okay, they're tough. They don't take no dagesh from anyone. So any other consonant besides the 5 guts gang consonants, any of those can take a dagesh forte. Now, what do dagesh fortes do? So these are the important things to know about dagesh forte. So number 1 is what they can go in, any consonant except a guttural. Number 2, dagesh forte will double the consonant that it's in. Okay, so it's a dot just like the dagesh lene, but it's a different dot. It's doing something different. It's doubling the consonant. It's making the consonant strong. Okay, now let's just take a look at a couple of examples here. Let's take the word Shaddai. Okay, Shaddai. You know the word El Shaddai. Have you heard that? Okay, so this is that word in the Hebrew language. So take a look at the dalet here. There's a dot inside the dalet, isn't there? So that could be a dagesh lene or a dagesh forte. But I want you to notice something. There is a vowel before the consonant dalet. If this were a dagesh lene dot, what would have happened with that vowel sound before it? It would be gone. It would be gone. Because any kind of vocal noise before a begad kafat letter blows a dagesh lene away. This dagesh is still here, even with the vowel before it. So what does that tell you? It's a strong dagesh, because it ain't going nowhere. Okay? So it's a dagesh forte. Now the dagesh forte, as I mentioned, basically strengthens the consonant that it's in such that it's doubled or sounds doubled. So if you were to transliterate this, it would be Shaddai. Shaddai. Okay? And if I could get you to indulge me for just a moment, when you look at that dagesh forte, you can't see it. But if you had a nice electron Hebrew microscope and you were to blow it up, there would be another dalet. That dot would actually be a second dalet, a second consonant. It's a double. Okay, of course I'm joking about this, but anytime you see a dagesh forte, basically treat it like it's it's a copy of the consonant that it's inside of. All right. So here, because dalet's a begad kafat letter, that dot could have been either one, forte or lene, and you have to look and see if there's a vowel before it to know. But if you take the word for woman, which is isha, okay, the dot is in a sheen. Is the sheen a begad kafat letter? No. So could that be a dagesh lene? No, because dagesh lene only goes in begad kafat letters. And since sheen is not, then you know that the only thing that can be is a dagesh forte. Okay? That's all it can be. So that means that this is a doubled sheen. So it's not just isha, it's isha. Isha. Okay? That sheen is strengthened with a doubled consonant there. All right? Now, the last thing we need to say about this. So thirdly, dagesh forte is always going to do two things. Okay? Dagesh forte will close one syllable and open a new syllable. Okay? Dagesh forte will close one syllable and open a new syllable. Let's take the word isha that we just looked at here. Let me transliterate it for just a moment. It looks like this. Remember, we double the consonant. Okay? How many vowels do I have here? I have a kirik and I have a kametz hey, right? So there it is. And notice that by doubling the sheen, I have two shins. If I were to divide the syllable, I'd split those sheens in half. Okay? So this is consonant, vowel, consonant. Is that closing? Yes. The sheen that has a dagesh forte is closing the first syllable, and then the second sheen is opening a new syllable. Every time you see a dagesh forte, that's what's going to happen. One syllable is being closed by the consonant, the doubled consonant, and a new syllable is being opened by that doubled consonant. Now, what if I want to divide my syllables using my Hebrew word, right, and my dividing lines? Where am I going to divide? Would I divide right here, like Like that? No, because what would that do? That would make this look like an open syllable, right? But the syllable is actually closed. Well, would I divide like right there? No, I can't do either of those, can I? Those aren't feasible. So what am I going to have you do? What am I going to have you do to divide this syllable? I'm going to have you come down like you're going to divide here. You're going to slide over and grab that dot and come back down. So what have I done? I'm using the first dot as the first sheen, and I'm leaving the rest of the sheen as the second sheen. So I have my Aleph, Keurig, first sheen, which is closed, so I'll always put a C to the right for closed syllable. And then the second sheen with its vowel forms the new syllable. So you're always swooping over and grabbing the dagesh forte and sort of dragging it to the right to close the syllable. Okay? Now, if I have a word like this, kid, the shoe, okay, then for dividing, I'm going to do that. What do I do with that shava underneath the dagesh forte? Well, under normal circumstances, you look to the right, you see a short vowel, you're going to think, that's a silent shava, right? But here's the deal with dagesh forte. Any shava under a dagesh forte is always vocal. Okay? Any shava under dagesh forte is always vocal. Why is that? Let's transliterate this and I'll tell you why. This is kof, Keurig, 2 dalets, right? DD. Then I have a vocal shava, a sheen, and the shurik. Okay? The first dalet that I'm seeing here, that is the doubling dot, the dagesh forte. So the second dalet that I have written here, that is representing the dalet that I see with whatever's under it. So it's the first dalet that's basically, it's got an implied silent shava because it's closing the syllable. And the shava I see visibly is the second shava, which is always vocal, right? And, or maybe I could rewrite it this way. It's like seeing this, kid, the shoe. Okay? This dalet with the silent shava is the dagesh forte. So this dalet with the shava you see is the dalet with the vocal shava. Okay? So dagesh forte, shava under it, always vocal. All right.